Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to Daily's 2A News. Today we're going to talk about the gun ban that Steve Sisolak, governor of Nevada, signed just yesterday. That is due to AB 286. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you guys are interested in understanding a little bit more about AB 286, what it is, what it does, the amended version that was sent up to Sisolak's desk, I will put a link to a video down in the description box that I made on the topic previously, and that'll explain it a little bit more in depth versus what we're going to be talking about today, because today we're going to be talking about what happened and kind of what this means moving forward. So what Sisolak did when he signed this bill is he essentially violated the Constitution. We all know that this is a violation of our Second Amendment rights, but he also violated the 5th and 14th Amendments as well, which is a pretty serious thing. He completely ignored the Constitution altogether and banned not only the sale, transfer, or manufacture of home-built blowers or receivers that are unserialized, but he also banned possession. And in this bill, it forces people to give them up, and to give them up without compensation. Okay, so let's go and talk about the obvious problems with this bill. Number one, and most clearly, it's a violation of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says that the people have the right to keep and bear arms. It doesn't say that we have to buy them from large profit-making corporations. It doesn't say that we have to buy them from a manufacturer that is required to put on a serial number. It doesn't say any of those things. We have a right to keep and bear arms, and since before the inception of this country, we have been making them ourselves. There is nowhere in the Constitution that says that we must buy these things from somebody, from a manufacturer. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Period. End of story. It's a violation of our Second Amendment rights, but it's also a violation of our 5th and 14th Amendment rights. And what I mean by that is, in this bill, this unconstitutional bill that Sisolak signed, the people who have already made, manufactured, and own frames or receivers that originally started out with, out a serial number on them, right? So you started off with an 80, or maybe you decided to make something that just works with PVC, who knows, right? So if you're somebody who's already made one, the government says now in this bill that you must give it up, that you must surrender it, or you must destroy it. So here's the problem with that. The takings clause in the 5th Amendment and the states clause in the 14th Amendment. The state cannot take something from you or seize something from you or confiscate something from you unless you are justly compensated. And there is no compensation written into this bill. So they want you to basically relieve yourself of property without compensating you justly. Now, here's the thing. We're not talking about just compensation as in terms of an unfinished frame or receiver as is. If you've already put the time, the work, and the effort into making it a working receiver, and then the government wants to take it from you, the value of that receiver is now as a finished receiver. And if they want it to be constitutional, which it wouldn't be anyway, because obviously if it violates the Second Amendment, it doesn't matter if the 5th or the 14th is being violated. We're going to start from the top and work down. This is completely unconstitutional on a Second Amendment basis. But if you want to just alleviate the other two so that there's not a reason, you need to be compensated for the items for your own personal property that the government is trying to take from you in some form or fashion or another. One, they're telling you that you can no longer have this and you must do something other than own it. That is the same as government taking. So it violates our Second Amendment rights. It violates our 5th and 14th Amendment rights. This is a clear violation of the Constitution altogether. Now, let's go ahead and talk about something you may not have thought about. This is aimed directly at you. This is aimed directly at the law-abiding citizen. You might think that they passed this bill to try and lower crime or, public safety or something like that, right? No. This bill is aimed at you, the good guy, the good person who hasn't even gotten a speeding ticket in 20 years, who doesn't break the law, who has their permit, who's gone through background checks already in the past. This is aimed at you. Why do I say that? Because there is already a law in existence in the state of Nevada that bars people who are prohibited from owning firearms from purchasing, possessing, or manufacturing these things on their own anyway. So there's already laws on the books for those people who have been prohibited to keep them from owning and manufacturing or transporting and selling or any of the above of these things already. So that law already exists. Now, they obviously have failed to enforce that law. So what they want to do now is they want to try and increase the size of their umbrella to cover absolutely everybody. So we've made a law, we've failed to enforce that law, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and screw over the good guy as well. There's already a law in place for the quote-unquote bad guy, okay? That law already exists. The only people that are left over from the bad guys are the good guys. So this seeks to go after them now, the good guys. That's who this bill was written for. That's who this bill is directed at. Do not be fooled. This was written to take rights away from the law-abiding. Now, another thing that really drives me nuts here is that it is our taxpayer money that's going to eventually defend this bill. My money, your money, and the good people of the state of Nevada's money is going to be used to defend an unconstitutional bill. So we know that somebody's going to come in and they're going to file a lawsuit against AB 286. Maybe it's the Firearms Policy Coalition. These guys are on fire right now. They're doing a great job. They're actually getting results. That's why I tell you guys to donate, become a member, because they need that financial support to come in and stop stuff like this. But regardless, let's just say for argument's sake that the FPC comes in, they file a lawsuit, on the constitutional basis to overturn AB 286. The state then hires a bunch of lawyers. Those lawyers spend countless hours researching different things, constitutional, this and that, and then they go to court. Maybe it gets appealed, so it takes longer and longer and longer, and it drags itself on for as long as the state can make it drag on, right? Well, lawyers are very expensive. That's no different when it comes to the state. Guess who has to fit that bill? Obviously, it's us. The same people who are trying to fight back to keep their rights from these unconstitutional bills are the same people who are paying to defend it. That absolutely drives me nuts. I wish there was a way to opt out of my tax money being used to defend stuff like this. They just take your money and then they use it against you in a... That really just drives me nuts, and I'm sorry I kind of get on rants every once in a while because I'm really passionate about this stuff. But we need to call Sisolak. We need to let him know that what he did is going to basically ensure that his party no longer sits in office come next election season. So I'll put his number down below. Just let him know that maybe you were somebody who voted for him last time, right? But you see what he's doing now, and you see where his stance is on the Second Amendment or on the Constitution in general, and you're not going to be supporting him next time. Give him a phone call. Let him know that. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.